Here we go, episode 168 of The Hardline. Mike Lamerlo, John Michael Masiri here with you. So much to talk about in the NFL. And of course, a little baseball we're going to work in here because we are heading towards October, the most exciting part of the baseball season. Our teams fighting for a playoff spot. Really, my team, the Yankees, didn't clinch yet, but they're basically in, and that's not a jinx. They're going to be in the postseason. It's not a jinx or anything. Mets still fighting down right now. JM, how are you doing today?
I'm good. It feels like a bit of a jinx.
It was not a jinx
I'm
at
not sure.
all.
I don't know in the jinx rule book how that works. If you say it's not a jinx, if it automatically disqualifies it as a jinx, or if it just fuels fire under the jinx.
I do not plan on jinxing the Yankees at all. I just believe they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs.
As do I, but crazier things have happened. That being said, Mike, doing good.
Just
Feeling
had
nice.
the birthday.
Birthday was yesterday.
We'll be at the Mets game Thursday afternoon.
Mets game on Thursday. Going down to Tampa this weekend. Got to watch Tyrod sling that pill. Going to see Rays Red Sox on the same day. Got a lot of sports ahead of me, but what's better than that? I'm feeling good.
Nothing better than that. And we are going to start in the NFL. I don't think we're going to talk Jets unless you want to work them in, but
I don't think they're exactly a national news story right now. I think we're good off that.
We're going to start with the Chiefs here as they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending champs. The first time in the Patrick Mahomes era that the Chiefs have lost 3 straight games. And now they head to MetLife Stadium to face a team that they have never beat on the road. They have never beat the New York Giants on the road. Did you know that, JM?
I did not know that until you said it this morning, and I have seen that this is now a prideful stat that you would like to say.
This is a thing. But, well, before we get to that game, let's just kind of discuss how I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I'm on that train. I don't think this team makes the postseason this year. Now, Burrow going down certainly hurts that statement that I did make late Sunday night. But still, this team does not have the makings of a postseason team at the moment.
Yeah, I think I heard you say that on Sunday, and I was thinking, okay, it's Sunday, it's fresh on his mind, he's overreacting, blah, blah, blah. By the time Wednesday comes around, he'll settle down, he'll maybe backpedal on his statement. So the pro is you show that you stand on business, Mike. You are standing on your point. Good for you. The con, I think you're being a little nuts. I'm not a big fan of this Chiefs team. I don't think a lot of people can be at this point when you watch them play football for 2 weeks. But to say they're not going to make the playoffs, I think is a bit of a stretch. What's the number one reason? Is it obviously the number one reason is how they've looked. But is it now you're looking at the schedule? They're playing a first place schedule. Is that being taken into account? Or you think take the schedule out of it, this just is not what a playoff team looks like?
It's not what a playoff team looks like. The offensive line is truly beat. They have a rookie left tackle. Jawan Taylor sucks. Young guys playing on the inside. This offensive line has taken a hit over the past couple of years. It's the reason why they didn't win the Super Bowl in 2020. It's the reason why they didn't win the Super Bowl last year, among a lot of other things. But really, when you boil it down, they couldn't execute anything offensively in the Super Bowl in 2024. They don't look like that team. Now, listen, they're going to get weapons back. They are. But let's say, hypothetically, they lose this game on Sunday, or they lose the week after, and now they're 1-3. That's a big hole to dig yourself out of. I'm pretty sure it's Detroit. I do have to check, though. But they play Detroit at some point coming up in the next 2 weeks. This team could dig themselves a hole that may be difficult for them to get out of. And even if they do get out of it, you're looking at a 9-8 football team that sneaks in because you had injuries of the rest of the AFC, like Joe Burrow, who's going to miss the next 3 months.
Yeah, well, the part that's concerning to me is last year we know about the Chiefs' one score games record, and they got pretty lucky when it came to that. Their expected win-loss was around 10-7, and they went 15-2. And I think we all agreed that was probably the least dominant, for lack of a better term, 15-win football team we've probably ever seen. So it reminds me, if you remember the Vikings a few years ago, when Kirk Cousins was there that year that they went 13-4 and had a lot of one-score games on their schedule, and then the next year go 7-10. I don't think the Chiefs are gonna go 7-10, but my point being that there's a fall off expected just from the regression to the mean that this team was 5 wins over their expected total last year when it comes to point differential. So I'm not a huge fan of them going forward. I do think there are concerns about the offensive line. I think we have to talk about Mahomes now in terms of, can we stop grouping him with Allen and Lamar, who are playing superhuman football year after year, because he's just not doing that. I still think he's in that elite tier, but as me and you discussed off camera a few times, I think Allen and Lamar are in their own tier at this point. I mean, that's just what it seems. So there's a lot of concerns. Patrick Mahomes is really, really, really good, but he's not, Superman. So I wouldn't go as far to say not playoffs, but 9-10 wins could certainly be realistic for them.
Let's go through the next 4 games. Okay.
Go ahead.
They're at MetLife Stadium this week. I think they're going to win the game. I think it's tough, low scoring. I think they win the game.
Yeah, I would say they'll win the game, but I don't think this team is capable of having like a pissed off blowout win. I don't think they have the talent to do that, but I'll give them a win.
So we'll give them 1-2.
Yeah.
Next week, they have a 4:25 CBS game at home against the Ravens.
Wow.
Probably taking the Ravens.
I don't know. The Ravens are just so tough to me because we saw what they did in Buffalo. They haven't been able to really beat the Chiefs in big spots.
But how big of a spot is this? It's not that
for the Chiefs. It's a big spot.
For the Chiefs, it is, but for the Ravens, it's really not a big spot because this is not going to be a team you're going to be competing for the number 1 overall seed with. Okay, yeah. It's a regular season game against a team, sure, you've struggled with, but it's just another regular season game against an AFC opponent. It's not a big game for the Ravens. I think they're going to go in there and smoke them.
Yeah. All right, I'll give them 1-3.
Then the week 5, they play in Jacksonville on Monday Night Football.
They'll win that game.
I think they'll win that game too. And then they're in Detroit, week 6, Sunday Night Football. Oh, sorry, it's in Kansas City.
I think they'll. Oh God. I don't know. Detroit looked so bad week 1. They looked so good week 2. So
they could be staring 2-4 in the face.
They could be staring
after week 6. They could be.
And then to get 9 or 10 wins from that point on, if you want to get 9 wins, you got to go 7-4 for the rest.
And by the way, that's going to be all without Rashid in those first 6 weeks. Yeah. All without your number 1 wide receiver in those 6 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, that I think the offense, we said it, I forgot if it was in the offseason or if we said it, right after week 1. But the concern with the Chiefs is we know their offense has been pretty mid for the past couple of years. I mean, that's not even a hot take. Just go look at the stats on paper. They're like 10th to 15th in scoring back-to-back years. But the defense has been so good that they've been able to get away with it. But now the defense takes a little step back, and all of a sudden you're looking at 9 or 10 wins. And the offense is actually taking a little step back. They're not even 10 to 15. It looks like right now, if things keep on pace, I don't know what they are right now, but they'll finish around 16 to 20 on offense.
When you look at like the greatest dynasties in sports history, there are ebbs and flows to these things. Sometimes you have to reinvent yourself. The Patriots, went on the most dominant run maybe we've ever seen, but they did go through a long period of time where they did not win the Super Bowl. But throughout those times of getting to AFC championship games and even winning Super Bowls, on the outside of the 8 years, whatever it was, they did things differently each year. Run heavy. Then they had Randy Moss. Then it was the tight ends. Then it was the slot receivers, the small guys, Welker, Amendola, like Edelman. The Chiefs have gone through a little bit of a revelation. They were the high-scoring, high-powered offense that was faster and stronger and better than you in every aspect. Then they became more of a running team with a great defense. And now that's changing because they don't have a running back and they don't have an offensive line. And the defense, when you can't pay everybody, you get a little worse. This is where they're at, and they're going to have to reinvent themselves. And I think next season they'll figure out a way to be different and be better and be dominant again. I just don't see it this season.
Yeah, you look at the last 2 years. I got it up right now. 2024, they're 15th in offensive points scored, and they're 4th in defensive points allowed. 2023, 15th again in offensive points scored, second in defensive points allowed. So right in the middle of the pack offensively, and elite top 3, top 5 defense. This year, so far through 2 games, they're 24th in points scored per game, and they're 19th in points allowed per game. So to me, the more concerning number there is the defense, because every year, like you were saying, dynasties, they go through different phases, and the Chiefs even had that. They had in 2022 when they won the Super Bowl, number 1 offense, number 16 defense, and then the year after they go back-to-back Super Bowls, and those numbers flip. You get number 2 defense and number 15 offense. So they've been able to win it 2 different ways, but one of those has to be elite. And if the defense isn't elite, I think it's basically a guarantee at this point that the offense isn't going to be elite. And now you're in trouble.
100%. And again, when you can't run the football, you can't get things started, it's going to be an issue.
And listen, this isn't the AFC South. Like, this is a division that has Denver, the jury's still out on them. They haven't looked great through 2 weeks, but the Chargers look pretty good. This isn't going to just be some, hey, have a down year and still win the division kind of thing.
100%. And now you look on the other side very quickly of this Sunday night football game, the Giants. They're no longer these Jackson Dart calls anymore. It's Russ right now after that great game in Dallas. They lose a heartbreaker. Dart got into the game a little bit. They had these design packages, some runs. They had the one run where he tripped, lost 3 yards. And of course, he had the handoff to Cam Scatabo where he got to the 1 yard line. But you're not going to see Dart. It's going to be Russ. I think this is a close game. And I think the Chiefs probably win the game. I've seen some people say that even if the game is close, there's no chance in hell the NFL allows the Giants to win this game because they cannot have the Kansas City Chiefs start 0-3. I don't buy into that personally, but I've seen it. I don't buy into it.
I don't buy into that either. I think everybody likes to get their conspiracy theories going. I don't think this will be a very entertaining game to watch. I honestly would like to take the Giants with the points, just being the home team, underdog, low scoring game on prime time. The Russell Wilson stuff to me was, even after week 1, like I'm not gonna act like I'm some genius that saw a 450-yard performance from Russell Wilson coming, but the fact that people after 1 week were calling for Dart to be put in, I mean, like, are we serious? Can we overreact any more that we want to put a kid who is a late first-round draft pick into the game when you have Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson on this team, and you want to make sure you get this right with Dart? So that was way too over the top. I think Russ proved that he can get it done now. I don't think he'll be able to consistently do that, obviously. I think there's also a lot of question marks about that Dallas defense. Secondary looked horrible. Trevon Diggs played one of the worst games I think I've ever seen him play. Maybe the worst game I've ever seen him play. So Russ has the job for now. Let's talk Dart when we get into Giants are on the brink of elimination. We're in week 13, 14, 15 area. Then let's talk Jackson Dart. But for now, there's no reason for them to be even considering putting him in.
I like the Giants this week, though, because...
Was it 5.5?
5.5, because when you look at the strengths of the Giants, not many strengths, but one strength is getting after the damn quarterback, and one of the weaknesses is that chief offensive line.
But, Mike, I'm just sitting here thinking, at what point do we stop saying, oh, well, it's the Chiefs? Like, I feel like this could be one of those years. We've seen it happen in football and in other sports several times where a certain team, rightfully so, has built up a respect for themselves around the game, and you just assume they're going to figure it out. But at what point do we stop assuming that they're just going to figure it out?
But that's where I'm at this season, at least. That's where I'm at. And
listen, I'm not there yet just because the only thing I'm thinking in the back of my mind is you just lost to the defending champs by 3 points. Granted, I know it wasn't as close. I know they scored late. But looking back, they could easily be 6-3 by week 9. And I'm looking back at that week 2 game and saying, okay, that was a tough point in their schedule. They figured it out. So I'm not there yet. But I would say if I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan or just as an unbiased, my worry level on a scale of 1 to 10 is over a 5. It's on the wrong side of it. So, yeah, I'd be worried.
If people paid for my gambling predictions, I'd tell them to bet the Chiefs miss the playoffs. Anyway, we are going to move on here to the Chicago Bears. What a mess they are. What a mess they are. The worst defense in the league. I have a couple of numbers that you're going to like. I'm going to throw at you here, okay? The most yards per play allowed, 29th in pass pressure rate, and 5th in yards per game. That's total. They are the worst. I say 5th worst. Awful. It has been awful on defense. And whether or not you want to get on Caleb, which we are going to do, their defense is not giving them a chance. Their defense didn't give them a chance in the fourth quarter against the Vikings, and their defense gave them zero chance when the Lions decided to put up 50 points in Detroit. So as much as we want to get on this offense, which we will, the defense is awful.
The defense is awful, which is surprising to me because on paper, the defense, especially for the last couple of years, has been able to be somewhat productive. Like they haven't been some Swiss cheese defense. So becoming that Swiss cheese defense now is a major red flag. Yeah, I mean, the elephant in the room when we're talking about the Chicago Bears, we could talk to her blue in the face about the defense, sure. But the elephant in the room is Caleb Williams and this offense because, you know, it's nice when you have all these mouths to feed and these shiny toys that, you know, you bring in Colston Loveland, you have Roma Dunze on a second year, Cole Kmet, DJ Moore, all these nice things, right? And then the season starts and you got Ben Johnson, you're all excited. But one thing we seem to forget is Caleb Williams looked bad at points last year, awful at certain points. And he showed occasional flashes, but not to the point where we were confident in him coming into the year. It was more of a confidence because he has Ben Johnson, not so much because Caleb showed signs that he is developing. Now we're at the point where it's like, Ben Johnson's here. Still looks the same. I would be very, very concerned if I was a Chicago Bears fan.
The one thing that's so interesting to me, and you said this to me yesterday, and it's so true. Like you look at you look like him, and looks like he's trying to do way too much. Yeah. It looks like he's trying to do way too much as the quarterback of this team. And then I look at what went on in Detroit when Ben Johnson was calling this offense. Like Jared Goff is not more physically gifted than Caleb Williams, not even close, right? Caleb is a much better athlete. He's probably got a stronger arm. So just in terms of traits, Caleb is much better. But Jared Goff ran the offense the way it needed to be run, and they were incredibly successful. Now, why Ben Johnson, who's such a smart offensive mind, why are they not able to get what they need out of Caleb Williams? Even if you're just slowing this thing down, completely slow it down, dumb it down for him. Make sure he doesn't make these stupid mistakes. He doesn't have to do this much.
I think one thing that people maybe, why they miss on quarterbacks so much in the NFL, and it's the position that till the end of time, I don't care what people say, it's going to be the position that's missed on the most in the draft. No matter how much scouting they do and how much better it gets in film and workouts and whatever it may be, they're always going to keep failing on quarterbacks more than they hit. And part of me thinks that since, the revolution of like Patrick Mahomes and these guys that can extend plays and make crazy plays with their arm strength, throwing across their body and on the run and blah, 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 that now it's like everybody's just looking out for that. Like, where's that unicorn? Where's that guy that can make all those throws? And Caleb proved that in college, that he can play out of structure and throw on the run and make these incredible throws and be the superhero when he needs to be. But I almost feel that Caleb, that's kind of what his game is. And what I mean by that is it's not like Mahomes uses that when he needs to, sort of a thing. Caleb seems to always want to be superhero and can't play within structure in a complicated NFL offense. That's what it looks like to me.
Well, remember when we used to scream and yell from here saying that it looked like Mahomes was trying to do too much, and he simplified it, and he would take what the defense was giving to him, and they were successful. He went on to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's what he has to do. The offense works. Now, I don't know if they have the players. They might not have the right players. This roster was clearly overrated heading into the season. They were not as good on paper as we thought. Again, you look at the defense, you look at the offensive line. DeAndre Swift stinks. Right,
Yeah.
DJ Moore hasn't been great this year. Somebody please trade for him in our fantasy league. Hasn't been great. So, like, maybe this roster was just overrated heading into this season, and we didn't realize it until we actually saw them play.
Yeah. Well,
and that's on polls, and that's completely on Ryan Poles.
Yes, that is on polls. And like I said to you, if this really goes south, Ben Johnson should be the last one to go. It should be Poles first. It should be Williams second, and then it should be Johnson, if necessary, third. I don't know if, the players around him, like, eventually your talent will show. So yeah, maybe to get the most out of him, maybe these aren't the right players, but give me a little glimpse that you are the right guy and that I do need to go get the right players, because right now, how can you be confident that as the Chicago Bears, and it's still early. I understand that. And part of why we love the football season is because week after week, we love to change our opinions and dissect things. But as of right now, 19 games into Caleb Williams' career, I would say he's on track to be a bust more than he is to be an NFL star.
This is the week to do it. You're playing Dallas, and you're playing a bad Dallas defense. If they're going to show something, they better show it this week against that team.
Well, I'll tell you, it looks like they found something in Odunze, at least. He's off to a great start.
He's been good.
And that's what you want to see out of a second-year player.
That line, by the way, do you know the line for the game? Dallas in Chicago?
I don't know, but I'll guess. I'm going to say.
Why don't you guess?
It's probably a pick 'em. It's 1.5 in somebody's favor. Bears
are -1.5. I was a little surprised. Okay. I was a little surprised 1.5.
Dallas.
I didn't think you could make the Bears favorites against a lot of teams. And I don't think they should make them favorites against Dallas. I think Dak's getting a little disrespected there, especially against the bad defense.
1.5. You're calling yourself a favorite at 1.5. Have some pride.
I might bet the Bears this week. It feels so gross.
That's so bizarre.
So gross.
They're in a desperation spot, and
they are.
The thing that would drive me even more nuts as a Bears fan is like how Caleb has looked and how the team overall has looked, and then you look around your division, and yeah, sure, things in Minnesota don't look great after last week between JJ playing like crap, getting hurt, they lose the game, sure, but Detroit proved last week when they played the Bears that they're not going anywhere, and the Packers are looking like the favorites to win the Super Bowl right now. So, not great times in Chicago.
Not great times. Good times, though, in Philadelphia and LA, because the Eagles and the Rams are rolling after 2 weeks, and this is a rematch of a fantastic football game from last year in the divisional round that many people would say the Rams could have and maybe should have won when it started to snow in the second half of this game. I am so excited for this game, because I think both teams have a lot to prove. I think the Rams want to prove that last year wasn't a fluke and they could play with the best of the best in the NFC. And I think the Eagles, well, they might not care, and nor should they, because all they've done is win. I think they're 17-1 in their last 18 games, but they win ugly. They're ugly wins, and that's fine. And Hurts is a winner, and this team is full of winners, but it's ugly, and they can win the ugliest of football games. But don't you think in the back of their head they want to have that performance offensively, where whether it's just running or it's passing or it's both, they just dominate a team? And wouldn't it look great if it was against this Rams team?
I think they do. And unfortunately, I think right now the Eagles have the same vibe to me as they gave in 2023, the year after they went to the Super Bowl. And you were waiting for them to show that dominance again. And they couldn't. And then eventually, we know how that season went. They end up falling apart, limping into the postseason and getting bounced in the first round. So I don't, I think if they lose this game, all of a sudden, I think the phones in Philadelphia, WHIP or whatever the hell it's called,
WIP,
they're going to start lighting up. But yeah, I mean, I'm yet to see, like, to look at the Eagles right now, especially offensively. We know the crazy statistics that are coming out about Jalen Hurts. The guy hasn't thrown a single pass between 10 to 19 yards down the field yet. It's either screen pass, check down, or like occasionally throw a bomb down the field. That's all he's doing.
But it
From this team,
works. Like, it works.
it
And their
does.
defense is good.
It can't work all year. I'm telling you, it won't be able to work all year. There's too many talented teams in the NFC. They won't be able to do it all year. They played a Dallas team that, played them really, really close. And I think that lightning delay might have actually killed the momentum for them, but played them really, really, although they did get kind of lucky because I guess they did fumble right before the lightning delay. That was probably a momentum killer. Anyways, they played them really close, and then they go and, barely scrape by the Giants at home. And now they play a struggling Chiefs team, and they don't win exactly with conviction. I mean, the game was pretty ugly on both sides throughout the entire contest. So we'll see. I mean, I saw on the prompt for the game, you said, who's this a bigger game for? I think it's for the Eagles, like, no question. I think the Rams already have two pretty good wins on their resume. I don't care what people say. If it's the Titans, like, anytime you win on the road out of conference game, it's pretty good. Against the defense, it's actually not that bad in Tennessee. So I think the Rams have nothing to worry about for now. If they drop this game, whatever, we'll worry about the Eagles if we run into them again in the postseason. But to me, the Eagles have to prove that they're still the team to beat.
Could be for the top seed in the NFC as well this game. I know the Packers are going to have something to say about that, but these three teams could absolutely be competing for that.
Yeah.
I understand your points about how they looked in 23 and how we were waiting for this team to explode offensively. But without the running game last season, were they really this dominant offensive team? They were so run heavy last year, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. They were winning these ugly games while not being this explosive passing offense. They might not have to do that. Yeah, a little bit more, sure, than how they've been doing it, but they might not have to be that team from 2022.
How dominant can that defense be again, though? I don't know. I'm not fully convinced that they're going to be that dominant again yet.
No, there's a chance they're not. They lost a lot of guys this offseason. The secondary's not as good. We saw that against Dallas.
Yeah, and then just taking luck into account, like, guys having down years, just, the way things go in the game. I could see that happening.
But the way they make up for a possible weaker defense is the time of possession. They were number 1 in time of possession last year. They're 6th this year. They're going to skyrocket to the top of that at some point again. Like, they play keep away, and they do it the best out of anybody. By the way, they gotta if they're not going to call offsides on both teams on the tush push, they have to ban it.
They do.
You have to ban it. If you're not going to call the penalty,
it's ridiculous.
Then ban it.
I'm pretty tired of it, to be honest with you. It's just, it doesn't even look like a football play. But the thing with the tush push is if you ban it, there's a lot of gray area. It's going to get really annoying because how many times have we seen a running back, get caught up in like a huddle tackle, and then his offensive lineman come behind him and push him for another 5 or 10 yards?
Or can you QB sneak? That's the other thing. I don't have a problem with it. But when you don't call blatant offside calls, that's when I have a problem with it.
Yeah. I'm surprised there's not more injuries from it, to be honest with you.
The Eagle linemen are tired of it.
Yeah.
They are. Like, they say it's very grueling on the body to run that.
Yeah, it's a rugby play.
So I think it's going to get banned. I actually do. I don't know how they're going to work it with what does a QB sneak look like and what's different about it. You just can't push from behind. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but I think it eventually gets banned because the refs are not calling the penalties on the play. You call the penalties on the play, I'm good. You can keep it. But you don't call an offsides. What are we doing here?
I wouldn't hate if the QB sneak got banned.
No, you got to keep the QB sneak.
It's tough because when you think about it, like Josh Allen does it all the time. You just snap the ball at the 1 yard line, he grabs it and just jumps and sticks the ball out. That's not really much of a.
You know what's not being talked about enough?
What?
The stupid kickoff rules.
Yeah, the kickoff rules are really dumb.
Hold on. You kick it out of bounds or whatever. Fair catch. You get it to 35. We have field goal kickers nowadays that if you get the ball at the 35-yard line, you need 15 yards.
Yeah.
It is so easy to score in this league. It's so easy to score. How are we not talking about this?
I don't understand why the whole thing is that they wanted to get rid of kickoffs in the first place because it was too dangerous. And now they're encouraging returns. Like, I get it. The guys aren't running full speed at each other anymore, but you also have a guy behind you that's running at full speed. You're blocking, ankles still get rolled up on, helmet to helmet still happen.
And most of these players, they're running it back, and then you get to the 25 or 30 anyway. You need 20 yards for a point.
Yeah.
The kickers are too good nowadays.
Yeah.
It's too easy to score. And I'm not saying this because my team got screwed on a 60-yard field goal as time expired in regulation last week. I'm saying this because I noticed this in week 1. It is really easy to score points in this league.
Well, the state of kicking in the NFL is absurd right now.
Yes.
It really is. I've never seen such a collection of amazing kickers than there are in the NFL right now. It seems like, I used to remember recently, I'm talking a few years, like 45-yard field goals were missed a lot. Like, not off, they were made more often than missed, but you still saw a lot of misses. Right now, through 2 weeks, I don't know if I've seen a missed field goal.
You have a random guy that got picked up by the Falcons playing on Monday Night Football.
5 for 5.
Tough spot. He went 5 for 5. I've never heard of that guy in my life. Something Romo. I've never heard of him in my life.
It's really
Patrick
bizarre.
Romo.
I don't know if it has something to do with these footballs that they're talking about, that they don't have to swap the K balls out for the year anymore. It probably has to do with that. Yeah, but it's crazy.
Even going back to last year,
narrow the posts.
Even going back to last year, though, they were still kicking like this last year.
Yeah. Somebody's going to make Brandon Aubrey or somebody is going to make, you saw it in the preseason, somebody's going to make a 70-yard field goal.
This season?
Yeah.
It's probably going to be Aubrey.
Yeah, I think so. Chris Boswell's kick at MetLife would have been good from freaking 90 yards.
Well, that's the best kicker in the history of the league, right there, Chris Boswell.
It's actually not a crazy take. He is like an all-time great.
I know. I love him.
There's numbers.
That was very exaggerated, but I love Chris Boswell. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on here. We are going to move to the Joe Burrow discussion because, man, is this scary.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted to talk about. This is what I was most excited to talk about. Let me have the floor for a second. Joe Burrow is going to be known as the what-if quarterback of this generation. Okay, we are going to look back in time and we are going to say, wow, what if Joe Burrow didn't get hurt? Wow, what if Joe Burrow once in his first 6 or 7 years of his career had an offensive line that was better than the 25th ranked offensive line in the league? What if? Because this guy has all the talent in the world and it's not even his fault. It's the fault of the organization and their negligence and not wanting to build around him with an offensive line. It's not his fault. All he does is get hurt. And we are going to sit back and say, if he never got hurt, how good could have he actually been? He's been sacked more than Andrew Luck in his first 71 games compared to Andrew Luck's 85 games, whatever it was. He's been sacked more than him in 15 less games. It is scary, and it sucks that we're never going to see what Joe Burrow could have actually looked like without all of these injuries. I got 1 or 2, but like the 4 or 5 he's had, 2 that have costed him seasons, 3, this is unbelievable.
It could get to a point where Joe Burrow wants to get out of there. I mean, weren't there discussions when he got drafted about potentially not wanting to go to Cincinnati? Like people saying he should do that?
I mean, I don't remember, but
I'm pretty sure that was a thing. But you're right. Like, what was the age? Like, there was literally a meme made off of it when Chase was that draft, right? It's the classic diagram of Burrow dropping back and it's him being in protection, like, and getting the ball off, and there's no receiver to catch the ball downfield. And then there's the thing of Penei Sewell blocking for him, that was the Penei Sewell thing. Then there's the thing of nobody blocking for him and him going to throw to Jamar Chase, and he's already sacked and thrown on the floor. So that's what the Bengals, what choice they faced. And I think everybody could agree it worked out for both, for the Lions to get Sewell and for the Bengals to get Chase. Those are 2 Hall of Fame gold jacket type players. But the reason I bring that up is this offensive line has been a discussion for a long time. And the year in 2021, when they made the Super Bowl, was probably the best offensive line that they've had, but it was nothing impressive. It was nothing.
No offensive line is ranked higher than 25 in his career.
Yeah, there you go. So Burrow isn't a Lamar where he can extend really well for himself with his athleticism. He's able to make off-platform throws and elevate his team, but he's still taking a ton of blows. So it's not an overreaction what you're saying to a certain degree. It's more of a, I hope you're wrong. I hope that he can come back and that he can change the trajectory of his career. But yeah, at this point, he hasn't been able to put multiple years together of being healthy and getting the Bengals into Super Bowl contention.
The other part of it is usually when you have a bad offensive line, you're not very good, right? But he's so great that even with these piss poor offensive lines, he is still able to be an MVP candidate. Now, again, he's taking hits, like you said, but he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the entire league with these bad offensive lines. So he's able to overcome it, but not to the extent of injury. And that's what really sucks about it.
I know. It really is unfortunate.
It sucks.
I don't know what's going to happen with Cincinnati. I mean, it's so frustrating because, you know, there was always the Trey Hendrickson discussion about the contract. And then Jamar and T, especially, it feels like has been hanging over their head for a long time. And they finally get that sorted out. And it seems like they have a quieter offseason. And now this happens. So I don't know what's going to happen with Burrow for the rest of his career. I hope they really take this offensive line seriously. Maybe you see somebody, a big trade happens. T. Higgins could possibly get traded this all. Who knows what's going to happen, but it's unfortunate. I really hope you're wrong.
We've talked about it so many times with this organization, how they don't like to spend money and it's something's always off. And whether it was the off-field or on-field distractions, and it was an offensive line, and now injury. Something always happens to this franchise for some reason, and we're seeing it right now. And Jake Browning's in, and Jake Browning, in my opinion, is one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league and will be able to run this offense, and I think they'll win some games. I don't think Burrow comes back. He's probably not going to come back. I don't.
Yeah, we'll see. He might come. You know, if they're still in contention, he might be able to come back. But it's a very serious injury he has. That surgery is.
Can you explain to me what turf toe actually is? Because I never had this explained to me.
Not like I hate the term turf toe because it makes it sound like it's like a stub toe or something. Like it's not on the tip of the toe. It's basically the muscle or the ligament underneath the portion where like your toe starts and your foot, the flat part of your foot ends, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to show my feet right now, but like on my hand, like this is like the end of the toe kind of a thing. This is the foot and now this is the toe. Turf toe is like this ligament.
Okay.
It connects the toe and the bottom of the foot.
But it's kind of like under your foot a little bit.
It's under your foot. So when it's flexing, when your foot's flexing, think about it. Every time you walk, run, your foot, you're on your toes and you're flexing that part of your foot. So
you can't walk
every single step. You can't. It's extremely painful. So what I was going to say was everybody's always talking about this generation of quarterbacks and who's Peyton Manning, who's Brady, who's Breeze, who's Rivers, who's these guys. And a lot of the times the debate has been, oh, well, Burrow's Manning and Mahomes is Brady. Actually, Allen's Manning. Actually, Lamar's Manning. This is a little like exaggerated and like rage baity because I really like Joe Burrow, but I'm just going to have a little fun. There's a certain Bengals quarterback that played in that era that was actually very talented and had some bad injuries. And even at the end of his career, on a different team, had an MVP caliber season. You knew the talent was always there. Just things never seem to go his way. I hope Joe Burrow doesn't end up being like Carson Palmer, but there is a Carson Palmer possibility. He's better than Carson Palmer is talent-wise. And
definitely more talented. Definitely better numbers. But yes.
But Carson Palmer, I mean, even that one of those years in Arizona,
35 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, completed 63% of his passes, had 4,000 yards. Was
Yeah,
the
he was like
second
a
in
top 5
MVP.
QB in the league that one year. So
Second in MVP.
But anyways, just with the history of quarterbacks in this franchise, I hope he's not another Carson Palmer.
I hope not too, because while I've always bet against Burrow, I do like Burrow, and he's exciting to watch, and you want to watch talent. Unless it's in your division, then we don't want to watch it. All right, let's just kind of go through the entire AFC South here. I want to hit on Daniel Jones. I want to hit on the Texans a little bit, and I wanted to hit on the Jags. So we'll do it in like a short amount of time before we get to what game we're looking forward to the most this week, and then a little bit in the MLB.
I do want to say something about the Jets at some point. I forgot.
That's fine. We'll save it for the end. They got the better quarterback playing today. Let's start with Daniel Jones because it's just remarkable. It is remarkable how good he looks, how comfortable he looks. And I remember last season and the season prior saying that I really like Shane Steichen, and I think Shane Steichen can coach offense and quarterbacks. And then Richardson sucked last year, and it was a mess, and they had Flacco, and nothing really worked, and it was ugly. And you had these weapons, but nobody was really like this dominant player, and the offensive line regressed a little bit. And I came into this year thinking, I think we're going to see a little bit of the same because you still don't have a quarterback. But these weapons to go along with Jones, and now the offensive line looks better. It is an unbelievable situation right now for not Danny Dimes, Indiana Jones.
Yeah. They're kind of like a Minnesota light version of last year. Like, they really do have a lot of good pieces in place. You think about in Minnesota, all the weapons that were out there, Hawkinson, Jefferson, Addison, even Aaron Jones. And now in the same thing, I mean, Tyler Warren, to me, that's such a Bears pick for them to go Loveland. It was a shock at the time. And it still is kind of a shock. I mean, there were points where we were talking about Warren, top 10 pick, like talking about him. We knew he wasn't Bowers as a prospect, but I think he was closer to Brock Bowers than he was to anybody else that is the first tight end drafted usually in the draft. So they got some good weapons over there, and I'm not surprised that Daniel Jones is playing this way because we've seen that in structure with good coaching and good weapons or whatever, just good offensive play around him, that he'll take care of the ball and he has athleticism and he'll be all right. But the odds of this team actually being like a wild card team and Daniel Jones being able to just like be a good game manager and make room for himself to be a starter in this league again, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility.
Wild card division.
Yeah, well, with that division, the
division.
Yes.
The Texans are 0-2.
They're favored right now.
The Jags don't know how to win football games. Texans are 0-2, and the Titans aren't winning it.
They're the favorites right now, and they were the favorites at 4:30 on Sunday. Before the Texans even played, they were the favorites.
It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. And I understand what you're saying about being a game manager and protecting the football in the right situation 100%. You saw that in 2022. But I think the most shocking part is some of these throws that he's making. I mean, he has been so accurate and throwing the ball downfield. You know he can throw the ball short to medium. Downfield was always the massive issue with him. He wasn't the greatest deep ball passer. And this season, man, he has just been on target. And Warren's his favorite weapon, and they look great. And it's a little frustrating. I'm not going to lie. I went back and watched a little bit of the film the other day, and I was like, holy crap.
That's all right. It was frustrating for me with Darnold. But now I really do. I always root for Darnold. Just because we did him so dirty.
I don't think I'm rooting against Jones. Like, I'm not sitting there rooting against him.
Actually, now I remember. I rooted against Darnold when he went to Carolina. I remember that because I was just like, I was so pissed at how it went and so disappointed. And I was like, if this freaking guy turns out to be good this year after we let him go, I'm going to be pissed. Then he goes to San Francisco, just journeyman, whatever. And then last year, I was like, yes, I would love for him to be good. So I think it's still fresh. The Band-Aid's still
very fresh.
Ripped off, so it's very fresh. But just really quick, finishing up on the Colts, Jonathan Taylor has always been one of the most talented running backs in football. And it's really cool to see that this offense this year, how it's looking, that he'll be able to put his name back in those conversations with people like Saquon Barkley and Bijan Robinson and Derrick Henry. Like he will be in those conversations again. Guy won the Offensive Player of the Year.
No, I know. It's just it hasn't been there in a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, he's dealt with some injuries and dealt with some crappy situations.
Good for D Jones. Good for D Jones.
Good for him,
I
yeah.
mean that sincerely.
It's a great nickname. That's better than Danny Dimes. It is.
I think it is too. Indiana. Yeah. Indiana's good. Indiana Jones is good. You worried about your Jags? I'm worried. I think Trevor Lawrence has something wrong with him where he doesn't know how to finish football.
I think he's allergic to winning football games.
Yeah.
Multiple things in the same game, multiple mistakes that were the same mistake, just done over again. Throwing a pick in the red zone is never good, especially when you're up 7-0 and you're about to go up 2 possessions. And then throws a lot of turnover-worthy balls later in the game in the red zone in big spots. He throws 3 picks. Should have had 4 or maybe even 5. There were some tip drills in the end zone. Now, granted, I know Brian Thomas is like, what the hell's going on with him? He's dropping passes. He's jumping for balls when he doesn't even have to jump. Like, really weird stuff going on. But yeah, major concern for my Jags because they should be 2-0, and they just let Jake Browning and a hobbled Bengals team who isn't known for getting off to good starts in the first place. They just skated by the Browns in week 1. They let them come back in the game, and I don't know. That's what they did last year. They just weren't able to hang. They lost a lot of one-score games, and they weren't able to execute late in the game, and that's exactly what they did on Sunday.
And you got Lawrence screaming or blowing off.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was sideline. Really, that was really weird.
It was weird. I'm not. I think there's sometimes like it gets read, even with Bo Nix and Sean Payton. I saw stuff from this past weekend. Like that's football, the passion and what's going on the field. But the whole not giving Liam Cohen the time of day sort of thing was weird.
Definitely weird.
But my Jags, I don't know. That cash out button is tempting to me, but I'll let it ride.
Can't feel good about the Texans if you pick the Texans like myself.
No, the Texans look horrible. CJ Stroud has gotten worse every year of his career so far, which is really weird to think about. I mean, this guy's not even a top 15 quarterback at this point.
He might not be.
And offensive line is horrible. Run game is basically non-existent. I mean, sure, you might get a couple flash in the pass from Nick Chubb once in a while, but Marks, Pierce, Chubb. Okay, cool. You have a bunch of RB2s in your running back room.
I didn't realize Woody Marks had a 37-yard reception the other day.
Yeah, he did.
It's good for Woody.
Defensively, I mean, yeah, sure, you have a nice pass rush, and you have some good pieces on that defense, Al-Shaair, Stingley, but it's not good enough. I mean, in this division, they might be able to still hang on, but losing that game to LA was really tough for them, getting that ball punched out late in the game, which, by the way, that guy, Landman, is off to a phenomenal start.
Yeah.
For LA. A fumble recovery last week and a forced fumble the week before. Mike, the Texans look really sketchy to me right now, and D'Amico's got to get that figured out.
I thought the defense would carry them. I thought the defense would be the reason why they won the division, and they've been playing well. It's just not good enough offensively. They need a running game. They need the offensive line to play well, and I don't think that's going to happen. I'd be very concerned if I was a Texans fan. JM, on the Jets, quickly before we move over to the game you're looking forward to the most, you will be in the building this week in Tampa Bay for Tyrod Taylor versus Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I want to just do like a public service announcement about the Jets, because what I've seen in the media this week has been absolutely pathetic out of New York radio people, out of New York Jets fans. It's actually awful, because I don't care how arrogant I sound right now. I'm just going to talk off the top of my head. I came into this year saying I'm not expecting anything from this team. We just came from an absolute collapse the past 2 years. Just awful, terrible, failed experiment. F's all over the board. And Aaron Glenn has his work cut out for him. We know this. We know that Aaron Glenn's job is to rebuild from the ground up. Like, basically strip it down. Yes, there are some players in the building that are worth keeping that they've extended, but everything else, how we operate, how we go about things, the stink around the organization, tear it all down and do it over again. And the fact that we get wow, week 1, we actually looked pretty good. And then we get schlacked by the Bills at home. And I need to see, I wouldn't see a Robert Saleh defense get blown out by the Bills at home on my Twitter. And I need to see people from WFAN saying the Jets made a mistake by not drafting a quarterback this offseason because now they have to play Tyrod Taylor out there. Like, are we serious? This is a multi-year rebuild. What did we say about Aaron Glenn? Oh, maybe we could see what the Lions were when Glenn was in Detroit that year that they won 8 or 9 games where they started off bad and they got better as the year went on. And there were things to build off of and look forward into the future. But no, we have to be stupid. We have to make TikTok edits and get everybody excited on WFAN and all the radio shows saying, oh, Jets are a dark horse. 10 wins this year. Look at this schedule. Oh, we might have 10 wins here. We have to do all that. And now we're at the point where we are here, where the expectations get set too high in people's fantasy land brains, and it comes crashing down. Where to me, I'm just like, yeah, this is how this season is going to be. There's going to be some embarrassing losses. How are you going to bounce back? How's Glenn going to address the roster? How's he going to address the media? Who's going to have a breakout year? Who's going to be, okay, we can hold on to this guy for the future. Mm-hmm. Everything is about 2026 and beyond this year, and about doing things the right way and building from the trenches and outward. And people are just out of their freaking mind with this team. It is ridiculous.
I was very confused with the outrage last week. Like, it was an embarrassing loss. Don't get me wrong. It was bad. I mean, it was bad.
It wasn't the worst Jets loss I've ever seen, though. I've seen plenty worse.
No, I'm not saying they just.
But you're right. It was bad.
It was bad. It wasn't even that the Bills. I think the problem was the Bills didn't even play that well. It was the Jets just played so poorly, and I think you expected a better showing in that game after what you saw in week 1. But I'm with you. This was never going to look pretty, especially early in the regular season, and it did look somewhat pretty early in week 1. And now you come to this disaster. I'm not like going to hit a panic button here. It's going to take some time.
There's no panic button to hit.
Justin Fields is awful. And we saw that last week.
Fields is terrible. Okay, I'll hit the panic button if they go 0-17. How about that? I'll hit the panic button if they are a joke of a team this year. Yeah, I will hit the panic button. If this team wins 5 or 6 games, though, I'm not hitting the panic button. That's what I'm expecting this team to do this year. You just said it. Fields is terrible. Why are we surprised? Can we please, let's put our thinking caps on here. The guy was in Chicago. Awful, right? Okay, cool. He runs for 1,200 yards one year. He couldn't complete a pass. Then he goes to Pittsburgh. He gets them 3 wins. Sure, there's rumors that even come out that Steelers players were upset that they benched him. I think Mike Tomlin's got a pretty good idea of what he's doing, though, at this point when it comes to putting winning products on the football field. And he figured Justin Fields doesn't give us the best chance to win. So then he comes over to the New York Jets, who have such a great reputation of developing quarterbacks. Let me tell you, he comes over to the New York Jets, and we really think that all of a sudden, he's back with his college wide receiver, so now he's going to become a franchise quarterback. Like, it's going to take a long time for Justin Fields in New York, if it's actually going to work out, for him to be able to look like a franchise quarterback. And especially in the beginning here, he's not going to look like a franchise quarterback because he puts up games like he just put up, where he can't complete a pass, where he's too much on his feet. He's clumsy with the ball. He's holding on to the ball for too long. It's what the guy does.
Fields no good.
Fields no good. And
can I say something? The defense, the one thing I will say, the defense doesn't look very good.
Yeah, the defense does not look good. That is the number one thing that I am concerned about right now. I could agree with
does not look good.
No. He looked great week 1. He did not look good last week.
How is Michael Clemens still rostered?
I don't know. And this Brandon Stevens signing seems to be a real treat. Guy's terrible.
real treat.
But really, like
JM,
they're going to lose in Tampa this weekend, and like the Jets fans. I'm sorry, I'm making this too long, but like, I follow these Jets fan accounts, and it's like, all right, new week, turn the page, trying to be optimistic, and like people in the comments are like, I can't believe I'm gonna have to sit in front of the TV and watch this game. Like, this team disappointed me so much last week. Like, what did you expect? We hung on in week 1 against 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers at home, and you thought we were going to then. Did you see what Josh Allen did in Orchard Park on Sunday Night Football, where he looked like, if Jesus came back and put on a football helmet, that's how he would play? That's what Josh Allen looked like, and we thought we were going to beat them at home with 50% Bills fans there?
not what you want.
No, not what you want. Everybody just freaking relax. It's not going to be a fun year. Just sit back, look for the little things that we could build off of, and that's it.
You're gonna be doing this. You're gonna be dealing with this all year, though. I could see it. We'll move on here to baseball before we get out of here. A couple of things I did want to hit. Number one, let's just check if they are still about to lose. The Mets are probably going to lose to the Padres here. Down 3 with a runner on second, the bottom of the 9th, 1 out. So they're probably going to lose this game. There'll be a game and a half up on the teams behind them, which would be the Giants and the Diamondbacks. I think the Mets hold on to this wild card spot, but very interesting that you have these teams in Arizona, in San Francisco, that basically sold at the deadline, now competing with the Mets team that threw up all over themselves over the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's scary times for the Mets. I mean, the thing that's really concerning, we kept talking about the rotation and what's that going to look like in the playoffs. And, there's concerns about Clay Holmes, Manaea, Senga. Okay, who's going to be the guy that gets the ball maybe in game 2 or game 3? And then McLean breaks out, and it's like, okay, that's a refreshing sight to see. But the guy that we were always just like, yeah, he'll be good, was Peterson. And Peterson, as of late, has been bad. He had another bad start.
Bad today. Grand slam to Machado.
Yeah, gives up a grand slam tonight. I mean, his ERA, I believe, is like it's about to hit 4.
Yep.
It's in like the 7s the past 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a concern for them. And Mike, I mean, I understand your comments when you talk about them matching up with teams in a 3-game series and how as the games of the series get larger on each round, that the chances of them winning goes down more and more because they're maybe built for having the pitching staff and whatever, where they could steal 2 games out of 3 and be fine. And maybe they could steal 3 out of 5 and be fine. But in a 7-game series, them being able to win 4 out of those 7, the odds are just not in their favor. But let's worry about them winning, first of all, enough games to get in. But even at this point, 2 out of 3, I'm not confident that, sure, McLean can be able to, he might get the ball game 1 now. Who knows what's going to happen? But
I would go in the Dodger series, talking about this with Trevor actually yesterday. I would go Peterson game 1 because I'm going to see Yamamoto in game 1, right? If it's the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I'm going to see Yamamoto in game 1. So I would rather save McLean for game 2 because I don't love their game 2 starter, or like it'll be Snell. I feel like I could beat Snell with McLean. I don't think I could beat Yamamoto in any game, let alone why would I waste my best starting pitcher?
I get that. I think also something to take into account is, yeah, I understand the Mets have decent depth when it comes to the pitching, especially now with Sproat and Tong and McLean. Those 3 guys thrown into Holmes and Peterson.
Manaea and Holmes were very good last night in the piggyback thing they did.
I get that. But the thing I would say is, if you in a 3-game series want to take some of those guys out of the rotation and use them as bullpen pieces, it's easier said than done. Because if we know one thing about starting pitchers, these guys are routine freaks. Everybody knows from playing baseball, watching baseball, hearing stories, starting pitchers are the weirdest guys in the room. They always are. They're very, very anal about their routines, and they're just freaky dudes, right?
You did it, not me.
Yeah,
I mean, twice there. I mean, really?
I did that.
I held off, and then
Yeah, it's my bad.
By the way, Soto's up as a tying run.
I
right
used
now
the
at
word
2-0.
anal and freaky in the same sentence.
It's unbelievable.
But really, just being like, okay, hey, David Peterson, I'm just using him as an example. But hey, David Peterson, you're going to come out of relief in this game. We're going to put you in a big spot. You're going to be a 6th inning, 1-run game reliever.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that he's just going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I have good stuff.
I got it.
I'll be fine. I got it. Yeah.
He was good last year, though, out of relief in the postseason.
Yeah. But my point being that, these guys just being able to have good depth for your starting pitching doesn't mean that they'll suddenly become these good high middle leverage relievers.
No, and I think what they're going to want to do with a lot of these guys too is get length, which I think makes it a little bit easier. Where I'm not asking Kodai Senga to get one inning or even 6 outs. Yeah, I think when they go to these starter type guys, it's going to be because they want bulk. So I think that will also help what they need there. But I think they're going to make the postseason. Like I think they are.
I think they are too.
See these teams jumping them, but at the same time, I'm in it and it's tough.
Yeah,
I don't want to be biased on either side. You know what I mean?
And I feel the same exact way from the outside looking in, and even if there was a bias, if anything, it would be against them a bias. Yeah. I think that they're gonna still get in just because the Reds to me just are a team that like they won't be able to put it together, and then the Giants. I mean. This is a team that's sold at the deadline. The same thing with the Diamondbacks selling at the deadline. And it's like, yeah, we've seen that happen before where maybe a team did a mini sell or even a big sell and they are able to put it together and make the playoffs. But I just think, I know they're playing terrible and they're playing way below the talent that they have. But I think this team is too talented to not get it.
And tomorrow's going to be a big game. They just lost. Soto had the tying guys on. He lined out right to the closer of Robert Suarez. Tomorrow's a big game because you got to take 2 out of 3. You haven't won a series in a very long time. You have Jonah Tong on the mound looking for a bounce back. They got to win tomorrow. Tomorrow, to me, is a must win. Thursday's a must win. And you got to show that you can not only win a series, but beat a good team as well. The Padres are definitely classify as a good team. The Yankees look like they're going to be playing one of their 2 biggest rivals in the American League, either the Astros or the Red Sox in that wild card round. So the division we'll agree is done. There's no way they're winning the division.
Just checking the score. Blue Jays lost tonight. Yankees are going to win. They'll be within 4 games there, but yeah, it's still an uphill battle. I mean, I would have liked to still be within about 2 games at this point. But hey, I mean, the Blue Jays are coming off of that they just snapped their 6-game winning streak. So, you hope maybe a cold streak is in the future. But yeah, I would, the odds are definitely against them to win this division right now. So,
who would you rather play in the wild card round? Would you rather it be the Astros or would you rather it be the Red Sox?
I feel like it's really like silly of me to sit here and say the Red Sox because of how they've played us this year. And nobody wants to face Crochet in the first game. But at the same time, ever since, especially, they haven't been playing well, and especially ever since they lost Roman Anthony, and he won't be back for that wild card series, it seems like. It seems like he'll maybe be back for if they advance to the DS.
Yeah, not a good markup today from Cora.
Yeah. And even if he did come back, like, what kind of Roman Anthony are you getting when you come back?
Look like?
I'm still going to say the Astros. I mean, both these teams have sent us home in the past. Obviously, the Astros have done it more often. But you'd hope that you're the home team for that series. And the Yankees have had the Astros number in the regular season the past couple of years.
In Houston, too, which is funny. In Houston.
Yeah, they haven't matched up against them since 2022 in the CS, where honestly, that Yankee team had no business even being in the CS that year. So I would choose Houston, but you should beat either of those teams.
It's funny. Boston 2 weeks ago, I would have said, I'm scared. I think the Yankees lose that series. The weird thing about the Yankees right now is that if you told me they lost in the wild card round or got to the World Series, both of them, like that wouldn't shock me. Like either wouldn't shock me. That's how weird this Yankee season has been, and that's how weird the American League is. Now, we can't look at the fact that the Yankees haven't played the Red Sox well or the Blue Jays well in the regular season, even if it's a long period of time with the Red Sox here. Doesn't matter when you get to the postseason. It just doesn't. You throw that all out the window. But I think they can get to the World Series. Like, I really do. I think this team is, when you look at the teams in the American League, one of, if not the most talented team in the league. But can something hold them back? Are they going to go cold again with the bats in the postseason? That would be my only question.
The thing that just gives me confidence in this team, though, is the most confident I've ever been in a Yankee team was the 19 team. And this team is not as good as that team, but their lineup is, honestly. Like, their lineup in 19 was great. This lineup they have there's really not a lot of, like, last year you had automatic outs basically at the bottom of that order between Rizzo and Verdugo and Wells and Volpe. Like, I know Volpe had a good postseason, but Wells played like crap in the postseason. Verdugo was like an automatic out. Rizzo was an automatic out. So they don't have that this year. And the timely hitting for this team, I think, could be really good for them. I think the guy that's going to be the X factor that it would shock me if he doesn't have a great postseason is going to be Bellinger. He actually literally 2 minutes ago just hit a 2-run home run. Grisham, unbelievable. He's got 2 home runs tonight. He's up to 33 on the
30. He hits 33rd. I saw 32.
He's got 33 now. He's got 12 home runs since August 20th. It's the most in the majors.
Insane.
Just unbelievable. But I mean, listen, we'll talk more about it as we get closer and what this team will be like in the postseason. The last thing I want to touch on, and it's got to do with the Yankees. Can we put this MVP race to bed, please?
Yeah.
Can we stop? I don't care. Like, listen, I love Cal Raleigh, and I'm really trying not to dislike him because he's like he was one of my favorite players in the league, no joke, before this season started. But now that there's the constant, he should be the MVP, blah, blah, blah. Obviously it's annoying the crap out of me and starting to make me resent him. But yes, 56 home runs as a catcher is unbelievable. And he's going to come close to Judge's record. That's insane, right? Can we not do the voter fatigue, LeBron, Jokic kind of thing here and not realize, like, oh, hey, so there's a guy who has 8 less home runs than Cal Raleigh. He's also batting .330, and his OPS is in the 1100s. And he plays elite defense in right field. Obviously not recently because of the injury. But, Mike, it's not close.
I'm getting tired of the conversation.
It's really not
because close. It's not close.
It's because of one stat. It's because of home runs. It's literally.
I think it has more to do with actually the fact that he plays catcher.
Yes.
I think the fact that he's a catcher, if he was doing this at first base or third base and it was the same slash line, I don't think we're having the conversation. I think we're saying it's Judge. But the fact that he plays catcher and it's the greatest season ever that a catcher's had, and it's the most home runs, and he actually catches. It's not like when Salvi Perez had all those home runs and he was DHing most of the time. Yeah. Like, this is real. He does catch. It's that. But I still don't really give a rat's ass because...
To me, though, you want to talk about the MVP races and what's close? It's closer in the NL between Schwarber and Ohtani than it is in the AL between Judge and Raleigh. Not Soto.
There's one more player you're forgetting there.
Not Soto.
I can make an argument that Soto's ahead of Schwarber. I could easily make that argument that Soto's ahead of Schwarber.
I'll give you the 30 stolen bases. The defense, to me, I'm sorry, it doesn't.
But Schwarber doesn't play defense.
Not playing defense versus playing defense and being the worst defender in the league, to me, it really doesn't matter.
I think it does.
So thank you. You're very valuable to us that you're able to play the field, Juan.
Yes.
You know you're the worst one in the sport at doing it, but thank you.
If Schwarber played more outfield than he did this year, he'd easily be the worst outfielder in the league, but he doesn't.
The guy's got 53 homers and 128 runs batted in. That is insane.
Soto's having a great year. A year that we haven't seen in this century, by the way.
He is having a very good year.
Tied his career high in home runs tonight, 41.
He's slightly less
shocked by.
Slightly less good year than last year. But
yes, 100%.
I'm not taking pride from that. I'm just saying. It's just
he got off to the slow start. 100%. That's what happened. Can't wait for next year with him. All right, one more thing before we get out of here. Your favorite in the NL and your favorite in the AL right now. If you had to predict the World Series, we'll do it obviously when we get to the postseason. But right now, if you had to give me a favorite, not even like who would you pick? Who should be the favorites?
My favorite in the NL, it's going to be the same thing as yours. I'm going to say the Phillies just because they've been there before. This is the same core that's gone to the World Series before. They always seem to love. Seem to love the moment in Philly. It's a very tough place to play in the postseason. They're going to have a first round bye. So yeah, I would say the Phillies are my favorite in the NL. The AL is much tougher to say. From a biased fan's perspective, I mean, I want to say the Yankees. They do have the best run differential in the MLB. They have been playing really well. They just went through the gauntlet, people are calling it, playing Boston twice, Tampa, Toronto, and Houston, and going 7-5 in those games. That was encouraging to see. So yeah, whatever. Call me out. I'll say that's the Yankees.
See, the Tigers are only 4 games ahead right now of the Guardians.
Yeah.
Guardians won tonight, and they got 4 left against Detroit.
You should have seen my face when I checked the MLB app the other day and saw the Guardians were rising up the standings. It was like I'm not going to say like a deer in the headlights because obviously we've been able to take care of the Guardians in the postseason. I'm just so tired of them. I want them to go away. So I would really not like.
I love the Guards. I love the Guards. I hope they make it. I hope the Guards make it. I would say the Phillies. I said that the other day. I think the Phillies should be the favorite. I think they're going to go to the World Series, and I think.
I feel like you're going to say Toronto or Seattle,
and I don't want to say Toronto. Like I don't want to say it because it doesn't make sense. But offensively, they have been one of, if not the best team in baseball.
Yeah.
Springer is having an unbelievable season, a completely underrated year. Vlad's been really, really good. Bo Bichette's had a big time bounce back year. And they don't have the frontline pitching, but they have enough guys there where they can get innings out of 4 guys and then be pretty decent. In Bassett, in Gausman, Lauer, Berrios, and then if you want a guy, Scherzer hurt or whatever, I don't even know, but I'm not counting him in those 4. I'm going to say Toronto.
It's like a 50-50 chance with him these days, unfortunately. That's kind of what happens to you when you hit the age of 40.
I was going to say him because like when you look on Baseball Reference, he's the 5th guy listed, but I actually didn't even check if he was hurt the other day. I didn't even
but I just overall looking at this postseason, we said it to each other yesterday, very exciting. Like I love that all the wild card teams, I think if you, not so much in the NL, but in the AL, if you took the 3 wild card teams and the top 3 teams that are the division winners and you just like switched places, it's the same thing to me. I feel like everybody is on such an equal level playing field.
I'm pumped.
Like any one of those teams in the World Series to me is not crazy.
No. In the AL?
Yeah, who are you going to say? Boston maybe would be a surprise?
No, I guess you're right. I guess none of those teams would be a surprise. I want to say Detroit's like the favorite too, because when you have Screwball, it's like the greatest weapon you can possibly have. But
I'm sorry, I really am not trying to be rage bait, but like they're 78-74. That's crazy.
Okay.
The Mets, I can't believe they're only 4 games above 500.
Well, you get to watch that team Thursday afternoon in the Hyundai Club against the Padres. Jonah Tong, the future of the league.
It's a big game.
Okay? It's a huge game. They need to win it, and I'll be in my, I think, Soto jersey tomorrow.
Future of the league has an 8.45 ERA.
That's one bad start. It's one bad start. It's just one bad start. Come on. All right, we're going to get out of here. Episode 168, a little long, but a good one. We'll talk to you guys next week. Enjoy the football this weekend. Terrible Thursday night game. Oh, my God. But a good Sunday. Should be fun. Talk to you guys next week.